Right, I'm here now with a good friend of mine and a famous person from the fitness world, John Shepherd. John's the publisher of UltraFit magazine. That's right, John, isn't it?
Yeah. That's correct.
And UltraFit's a magazine I've been working with now for, well, how long, John? A couple of years?
A couple of years, yeah, since you got involved and contacted us about supplying some material for over 50s. Yeah. You got your background into fitness was quite unique in many ways because you didn't start from a fitness background, did you?
No, not at all. My early days were very much being unfit, and until I got to about 50, I was about 17 stone and very, very unfit. But I met you through a mutual contact, and you spotted that I had some potential in terms of being an author about fitness. At that stage, I was well on my way on my fitness journey, and I think you started thinking about me writing for the magazine.
Well, yeah, I think you covered a different market that many fitness magazines don't actually approach, i.e. the over 50s. I mean, UltraFit's all about a fitness lifestyle for anybody at whatever age they are, whether they be young, old, middle-aged, etc. I think some other magazines might have shied away from doing an over 50s column as well, right, because of the young, generic kind of youthful appearance, albeit as personified by our covers. But you do corner a very important market and an ever-increasing one in this generally, I suppose, obese climate that we live in. I think that's probably the most important factor, that you weren't fit. Speaking for myself, I've always been fit since a young age, whereas you came from it from a totally different background, which I think makes it even more motivational, and I think that's what I wanted to, or you rather, to get across in your articles as well, so that people could see that. The fact that you're modelling the exercises and we're portraying them in the magazine indicates your knowledge, and also the fact that the body will respond at any age, and it doesn't really matter who the model is doing the exercise. And I think that's important. I think a lot of older people need to invest in their health as much as they need to do in stocks and shares.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Great seeing you again, of course. And as always, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity for writing for the magazine. It pleases me enormously whenever I get emails, which I do get from readers. It rather makes it all feel worthwhile because, as you know, I'm here to make a difference, not just for myself but for other people as well.
Okay, I'm actually a magazine publisher of Fitnorama magazine. It's a health and fitness magazine, and it's aimed at fitness professionals and fitness enthusiasts alike. We actually had a stand at a trade show called LIW in September of 2011. And Chris came along to enter one of our competitions we ran there, so was taking live pictures at the stand, and Chris came along to enter. We took shots of people, we took like a kind of a full profile shot of people, and then we added those pictures to Facebook the day after. For a public vote, so people got to vote for their favourite, and the person with the most votes won the cover of the magazine.
And that was actually Chris?
Yeah, Chris actually won, yes.
Do you think there was a specific reason behind him winning the vote? Because obviously there were going to be people that were a lot younger than he is in this.
I think people wanted someone a bit more natural, a bit more someone they could relate to, and it seemed, Chris done the job. There was a lot of youngsters there who were really lean, and everyone looked great, Chris included. But I think because he was slightly older, I think it was a bit out of the ordinary for people to vote, I guess, and so it made it cover.
And how did that affect the sales of the magazine?
It actually done really well. It was one of our best-selling issues, and it's normally quite surprising, but it done really, really well.
How does Chris? Is Chris still involved in the magazine?
He does. He submits articles every now and then. We do workout shoots as well. So we always do a little call out for workout shoots, and Chris is always involved as well.
Excellent. Okay.
I met Chris probably about 3 or 4 years ago when he came down to do a photo shoot because he'd lost loads of weight. I mean, it's near on 5 stone, so he lost. It was a big change for me because I'm used to shooting a lot of 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds doing a lot of fitness and stuff and everything. It's not often you get somebody plus 50 in front of your lens who's never done it before and done such an achievement and lost so much weight. I mean, Chris firstly, because he didn't pick up a weight until he was in his 50s. He was very obese before that, so it's great to have somebody different and something that gives a bit of variety, because it serves as a big inspiration to sort of other people out there in a similar situation. I mean, Chris is a really outgoing guy, and he loves throwing himself into new challenges and different circumstances. So I mean, a photo shoot, I get a lot of mixture of people come who they've never done it before, and they're all of a sudden it's scary, it's daunting, and stuff like that. Chris is like a duck to water. He's almost an animal now. You can't keep his shirt on for a photo shoot. He's the first in there in any situation, shirt off, wanting to keep up with the 20-year-olds. You know, a lot of what comes across in pictures is people's personalities. You know, Chris is very vibrant, full of life. There's so much energy. I hope, you know, when I get to his age, I've still got that much energy. Things like that come across in pictures, and it's a desire to share his story and help people and everything that really comes across. So he's always, you know, willing for ideas, wants to go the extra mile. It's very hard to get him, you know, away from the camera after a while.
My gym training program is pretty constant now. On a good day, I'll go to the gym twice a day. First thing in the morning, and that it really is first thing. It's after coffee, but before breakfast. And that gym training in the morning is for cardio and abs. That's 40 minutes either on a running machine or on a cross trainer. And the running machine or cross trainer could be either high intensity intervals, or it could be at a steady state, followed by some abs work, which includes both the upper abs and the lower abs, and also the obliques on the side. So that's the morning, that's the pre-breakfast cardio. And then later on in the day, typically between sort of lunchtime and evening meal, but it can vary. Later in the day, I'll do a weights workout or resistance workout for a particular body part. So one day it could be chest, the next day it could be back, the next day it could be arms. I tend to work the arms together, both the front and the back of the arms together, the biceps and triceps. Or it could be legs, or it could be shoulders. So every day I'll try to do a combination of a cardio workout first thing in the morning, followed by a resistance workout later in the afternoon. I've experimented in lots and lots of different ways with different dietary and nutrition approaches, and what works for me is something that is a fairly high protein, fairly low carbohydrate diet, and I kind of recommend this to many people who ask me my opinions. So the amount of protein I have in my diet is about 40% of calories. So 40% of my daily input of calories comes from protein sources, which is higher than many people. For carbohydrates, it's lower than many people. Most people have lots more carbohydrates than I do. I have about 40% again from carbohydrates, which leaves 20% from the other macronutrients, which is fat. So my protein, carbohydrate and fat ratio is 40-40-20 in terms of the calories from those three different macronutrient sources. And I find that's the right level of nutrition that helps me put on some muscle and lose fat. Really for proteins, I'm a big fan of natural sources of proteins. So I often use as my main source of proteins meat, poultry and fish. So my favourite protein sources are chicken or turkey. Beef I love. If I'm feeling a bit exotic, we might get some kangaroo or some ostrich or some buffalo in there, but they're all fantastic sources of protein. Fish is great. I don't mean fish from the fish and chip shop. The batter really compromises that. But the fish, generally speaking, and shellfish is very good, and eggs is very good as well. Normal dairy eggs. One of the interesting things about eggs is that egg white is, I think, the purest form of protein that you can get, egg white. So one thing we didn't really go into was additional protein. I do find that a protein shake is very useful to have, particularly after a workout. It was tough, but I've done it by not getting rid of any particular foods, but just minimising the quantities of foods which are less good for you, and using a principle which I've called the QNQ principle, which is quality, not quantity. So I'll still drink wine, I'll still drink beer, I'll still even have bread, for example, and even chocolate, but I'll make sure that it's good quality stuff rather than cheap and poor quality. So I'd rather have, say, 1 glass of very good wine rather than 3 glasses of fairly poor quality wine. So I think quality over quantity. You don't get any less, you don't get any greater fitness benefits by having higher quality, generally speaking, in terms of wine, but you enjoy just as much enjoyment from it.
He still has all the same friends, but I think the things that they do have changed. So whereas before they used to go out for kind of big fish and chip meals and out travelling on the trains and drinking. He has changed quite a bit in terms of, whereas before he'd go out for the day and the lads would go out and eat and drink huge amounts and come back satiated at the end of the day. Now they tend to do a lot more fitness, so they go for hill walks together. So whilst they still have the occasional beer, I would say it's quality, not quantity, I think is Chris's phrase.
That's the quote I've been hearing a lot this week, and it's a really good quote, I think. And I think that people will, when they see this, aspire to be like him.
Yeah, I'm trying to apply it to chocolate.